Hello everyone. So I'm about to read you a scripture out of the Bible. Um, so this happens every Thursday and every Sunday, and it's for my brand Spiritual Jungle. And so you can follow the Instagram page, which is at Spiritual Jungle, and there you can see all the spiritual houses I visited, and you can also see some of my favorite biblical scriptures over there. I have mentioned before that I'm going to be releasing some merch for the Spiritual Jungle brand, and just keep an eye on the video section on the YouTube channel so that you will know when that merch is going to be released. I have a couple of e-commerce stores, so when you Google brands by Andrea, you will find all my stores over there, or most of them. It is a bit of a process because um, I relocated back from London, and most of this e-commerce um, stores and everything was built in London. And while I was in London, and then when I returned back to SA, I now needed to figure out my passwords, and I left my laptop charger over there, and yeah, so it was just about starting over here in South Africa, and so now I'm gathering all my designs again. I need to access my email addresses I had there to, get my designs and all of those things. But it is in my plans to create merch for Spiritual Jungle very soon. And like I said, just keep an eye on the YouTube channel, and you will stay up to date with all the brands I'm releasing, and you can see what you would like to purchase most, and you can also let me know. My email address is also online, and yeah. So for Spiritual Jungle, we can also do podcasts. So, like I've mentioned in my previous videos, if anything resonates with you, or if anything rings a bell in terms of what I'm reading in the Bible scripture, or a story I share with you, I write praise as well for the Spiritual Jungle community, and I read it usually on a Sunday. But for now, I'm going to just tell you a story from in the past after I read this biblical scripture, and then I'm going to work on that prayer, and once I'm done writing the prayer, I will then post it on my YouTube channel. Okay, so subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, so that you can we can connect with regards to the spiritual journey. Okay, so it goes like this. The word of the Lord that came to Zephaniah, son of Cushi, the son of Gedaliah, the son of Amariah, the son of Hezekiah, during the reign of Josiah, son of Amon, king of Judah. Judgment on the whole earth in the day of the Lord. I will sweep away everything from the face of the earth, declares the Lord. I will sweep away both man and beast. I will sweep away the birds in the sky and the fish in the sea, and the idols that cause the wicked to stumble. I'm not sure if you've ever seen, we read about idols, but have you ever seen something similar to that? Um, like I have seen before, people creating things, and like I usually take pictures. Nowadays, I like to snap a couple of pictures, um, like of it's called peculiar pictures. So, peculiar pictures is something different, something odd, something that seems strange and unique, and you can sort of wonder like what made someone put those things in that order, or why someone would place a certain item somewhere that looks a little bit strange. Okay, so then that is under the Found My Design brand. So I always encourage people to, let me know what they see as well, so that we can have a discussion. Because when you have an artistic eye, when you are creative, you can see things in terms of like, we can think back to, okay, we won't know what's in someone else's mind, right? But you it sort of makes us wonder, like, why someone would place something in a certain way. Or have you ever seen something like, when you look at art, like, um why is this placed like this? It almost looks like this. It almost looks like so and so, like, a type of situation. You know what I mean? So go on to scroll down on my post section on the YouTube channel, and you'll go under peculiar pictures, and you'll see me posting everything that I took. I also walked around the yard the other day, and not the other day, it started one day when I started realizing, but what the hell is actually going on here? I was wondering, like, why things were placed like that. Is it just rubbish? Is it just like, did someone just throw the trash there, or just whatever they could find, just like throw it out, and it was standing like that? Or did someone actually build it like that? You know what I mean? But it was kind of freaky to me, because I was like thinking, why is there a bath in the yard? You know what I mean? And why is there pipes, a hose pipe in there with other rubble? And then there's one picture where there's like a, almost like a statue, like the top, like the head of it, it's like standing there. And then there's also a mannequin which is like topless. And yeah, it looked really weird. Like, if I didn't know the people that were staying here, like, if I didn't know them somehow, I would not want to stay here, because that type of thing would make me wonder, like, what the hell. And then there was also like a couple of pictures where there was like, like wood. It's like someone chopped a tree, and then there was pieces of this, what do you call it, when you chop a tree, and then there's like stumps of this tree that was like put in a certain position. And then the one of it looks almost like a kettle. And then there was like sticks and stuff in a random way. But when you look at it, you can like say, like, oh, this thing looks like a, almost like a kettle, or whatever the case may be. It's kind of weird and it's strange and it's odd. But anyway, this is why I captured it as art, when I came across these things. And there was also like a whole lot of mess that I also captured in the pictures, because I was curious about it. So I took these pictures. But go check it out. Like I said, it's under the post section, and let me know what you see. Okay, is it strange for you or odd? And if you came across those things, what would you think? But anyway, I took pictures of it and I posted it on there. So when I read about this idol section, I I'm not saying people are building idols or whatever the case may be. There are a few people staying on the yard, but it is strange, you know what I mean? And people get up to strange things, they do wicked things, they involve themselves in all these dark things. And this is why I always remind the spiritual jungle, it a community is so important to pray. This is why I always write prayers, or I always pray. I'm also going to tell you a bit of a story of my past situation, which I never wanted to share with anyone, because it was too painful for me. But as I started meditating, I feel like it's the right time for me to share it now as an adult, because back then when it happened to me, I was a child. I was still in school. But it's actually a sad situation, when I think about it. And the reason I didn't want to go into detail when it came to that type of things or those type of memories was because it always made me want to cry, you know what I mean? Because it was so hurtful. But now, because I work on strengthening my faith on a daily basis, um, and always praying, and I've seen God bring me through a lot of challenges and a lot of difficult situations. I've experienced that myself, and I wouldn't have made it if I didn't have strong faith in God. And yeah, so I'm gonna go on to share that story now. But have you ever experienced those things when we read about it, idolatry and things like that? Um, is there any stories that you can share that you have seen weird things, and or been in a situation where people are, you witness some wicked behavior, and that really freaked you out and made you feel scared, or made you feel uncomfortable because you are a God fearing person and you don't believe in. This light just went off now. What I'm doing is I'm using this fan to actually create light, because in here I don't have a light. Let me just get a flash quickly. So in here, this is like an entire situation here. Yeah, as I was saying, in here I don't have a light because um, the ceiling caved in as well. The ceiling caved in, and when it was raining, and then I had to fix the ceiling to look somewhat decent. And so I never worried with the light, but now I have a couple of cell phones. I've got three cell phones, and so I just use my flashlight, and I'm okay with that, you know what I mean, because I'm so busy creating things, writing. I don't like to be bothered actually with disturbances and things like that. So I don't want anyone in my space um, coming in here to sort out the light or whatever the case may be. I've got a flashlight, and so that is okay. Um, yeah. So if you've experienced anything with regards to those things like wicked behavior, idolatry, something that was really, really freaked you out when you saw it, um, or you were in a certain space and it just made you want to pray, and it just made you, it makes you want to sort of tell someone about it, because it's like weird. But anyway, yeah. So let us know at Spiritual Jungle. You can email me, or you can somehow mention something in the comment box so that once I find it, I will then contact you, and then we can maybe do a podcast, or we can do something for the social channels. Okay. So, as I said, it says here, I will sweep away both man and beast. I will sweep away the birds in the sky, and the fish in the sea, and the idols that cause the wicked to stumble. When I destroy all mankind on the face of the earth, declares the Lord, I will stretch out my hand against Judah and against all who live in Jerusalem. I will destroy every remnant of Baal worship in this place. The very names of idolatrous priests, those who bow down on the roofs to worship the starry host, those who bow down and swear by the Lord, and who also swear by Molech, those who turn back from following the Lord, and neither seek the Lord nor inquire of him. Be silent before the sovereign Lord, for the day of the Lord is near. The Lord has prepared a sacrifice, he has consecrated those he has invited. On the day of the Lord's sacrifice, I will punish the officials and the king's sons and all those clad in foreign clothes. On that day, I will punish all who avoid stepping on the threshold, who fill the temple with their gods, with violence and deceit. On that day, declares the Lord, a cry will go up from the fish gate, wailing from the new quarter, and a loud crash from the hills. Wail, you who live in the market district. All your merchants will be wiped out. All who trade with silver will be destroyed. All at that time I will search Jerusalem with lamps. With lamps, I just spoke about using flashlights now. At that time I will search Jerusalem with lamps and punish those who are complacent, who are like wine left on its dregs, who think the Lord will do nothing, either good or bad. Their wealth will be plundered, their houses demolished. Though they build houses, they will not live in them. Though they plant vineyards, they will not drink the wine. The, the great day of the Lord is near, near and coming quickly. The cry on the day of the Lord is bitter. The mighty warrior shouts his battle cry. That day will be a day of wrath, a day of trouble and ruin, a day of darkness and gloom, a day of clouds and blackness, a day of trumpet and battle cry, against the fortified cities and against the corner towers. I will bring such distress on all people that they will grope about like those who are blind, because they have sinned against the Lord. Their blood will be poured out like dust, and their entrails like dung. Neither their silver nor their gold will be able to save them on that day of the Lord's wrath. In the fire of jealousy, in the fire of his jealousy, the whole earth will be consumed. For he will make a sudden end of all who live on earth. Judah and Jerusalem judged along with the nations. Judah summoned to repent. Gather together, gather yourselves together, you shameful nation, before the decree takes effect, and that day passes like wind-blown chaff, before the Lord's fierce anger. Before the Lord's fierce anger comes upon you, before the day of the Lord's wrath comes upon you, seek the Lord, all you humble of the land. You who do what he commands, seek righteousness, seek humility. Perhaps you will be sheltered on the day of his anger. Gaza will be abandoned and Ashkelon left in ruins. At midday, Ashdod will be emptied and Ekron uprooted. Woe to you who live by the sea, you Kerethite people! The word of the Lord is against you. Canaan, land of the Philistines, he says, I will destroy you, and none will be left. The land by the sea will become pastures, having wells for shepherds and pens for flocks. That land will belong to the remnant of the people of Judah. They will they will find pasture. In the evening they will lie down in the houses of Ashkelon. The, the Lord their God will care for them. He will restore their fortunes. I have heard the insults of Moab and the taunts of the Ammonites, who insulted my people and made threats against their land. Therefore, as surely as I live, declares the Lord Almighty, the God of Israel, surely Moab will become like Sodom, the Ammonites like Gomorrah, a place of weeds and salt pits, a wasteland forever. The remnant of my people will plunder them. The survivors of my nation will inherit their land. This is what they will get in return for their pride, for insulting and mocking the people of the Lord Almighty. The Lord will be awesome to them when He destroys all the gods of the earth. Distant nations will bow down to Him, all of them in their own lands. You Cushites too will be slain by my sword. He will stretch out his hand against the north and destroy Assyria, leaving Nineveh utterly desolate and dry as the desert. Flocks and herds will lie down there, creatures of every kind. The desert owl and the screech owl will roost on her columns. Their hooting will echo through the windows, rubble will fill the doorways. The beams of cedar will be exposed. This is the city of revelry that lived in safety. She said to herself, I am the one, and there is none besides me. What a ruin she has become, a lair for wild beasts. All who pass by scoff and shake their fists. Woe to the city of oppression, rebellious and defiled. Excuse me. She obeys no one. She accepts no correction. She does not trust in the Lord. She does not draw near to her God. Her officials within her are roaring lions. Let me start that again. Her officials within her are roaring lions. Her rulers are evening wolves who leave nothing for the morning. Her prophets are unprincipled, they are treacherous people. Her priests profane the sanctuary and do violence to the law. The Lord within her is righteous, He does no wrong. Morning by morning He dispenses His justice, and every new day He does not fail. Yet the unrighteous know no shame. Have you ever experienced someone um, doing something really offensive, like I just read now about insulting and mocking? But maybe you told them something in the past, something that's confidential or whatever the case may be, um, and they just act out this behavior without any shame. Do you? They think nothing of the bad behavior. Have you ever experienced it? I have myself, but I'm just curious to know, have you experienced that? How did you handle that? I have another brand called JK. I've got some JK e-cards online as well, where I speak about my personal experiences, but I all the scenarios where I've like experienced insults and things like that, I use that information to empower other women and men, and encourage them to share their truth and their challenges and their things that they have gone through, and terrible things like they experienced betrayal, or they experienced abandonment, or they experienced maybe someone they trusted took advantage of their vulnerability. And so JK, the JK brand, I all of those stories there is based on my personal experiences, and it's made to help other women, um, and encourage them, and just so that they know they are not alone in the situation, and that we can connect on the JK campaign, and then we can maybe, help more women or help the JK community again. So you will see like most of my brands are linked to my faith, like my spiritual journey, but also my truth. So what I choose to share, when I choose to share it, I will reveal it online, and I hope that if other women experience something similar, that they would connect with me, and then we can have a podcast, and we can get into the detail of the situation, and just learn how to overcome these things, together as a JK community, as a spiritual jungle community. Okay. So I last read here, morning by morning he dispenses his justice, and every new day he does not fail. Yet the unrighteous know no shame. I have destroyed nations, their strongholds are demolished. I have left their streets deserted, with no one passing through. Their cities are laid waste, they are deserted and empty. Of Jerusalem I thought, surely you will fear me and accept correction. Then her place of refuge would not be destroyed. Nor all of my punishments, nor all my punishments come upon her, but they were still eager to act corruptly in all they did. Nor all my punishments come upon her, but they were still eager to act corruptly in all they did. Therefore wait for me, declares the Lord, for the day I will stand up to testify. I have decided to assemble the nations, to gather the kingdoms, and to pour out my wrath on them. All my fierce anger, the whole world will be consumed by the fire of my jealous anger. Then I will purify the lips of the people, that all of them may call on the name of the Lord, and serve him shoulder to shoulder. From beyond the rivers of Cush, my worshippers, my scattered people, will bring me offerings. On that day, you, Jerusalem, will not be put to shame for all the wrongs you have done to me, because I will remove you from your arrogant boasters. Never again will you be haughty on my holy hill, but I will leave within you the meek and humble. The remnant of Israel, the remnant of Israel will trust in the name of the Lord. They will do no wrong. They will tell no lies. A deceitful tongue will not be found in their mouths. They will eat and lie down, and no one will make them afraid. Sing, daughter Zion. Shout aloud, Israel. Be glad and rejoice with all your heart. Daughter Jerusalem, the Lord has taken away your punishment. He has turned back your enemy. The Lord, The King of Israel is with you. Never again will you fear any harm. On that day, they will say to Jerusalem, do not fear Zion. Do not let your hands hang limp. The Lord your God is with you, the mighty warrior who saves. He will take great delight in you. In his love, he will no longer rebuke you, but will rejoice over you with singing. I will remove from you all who mourn over the loss of your appointed festivals, which is a burden and a reproach for you. At that time, I will deal with all who oppressed you. I will rescue the lame. I will gather the exiles. I will give them praise and honor in every land where they have suffered shame. At that time, I will gather you. At that time, I will bring you home. I will give you honor and praise among all the people of the earth when I restore your fortunes before your very eyes. Okay. Let me know if anything resonates with you or makes you think of something or a situation that you went through, and let's share it on the Spiritual Jungle social channels. Okay, so I want to tell you a bit of a story. Like I said before, my brands and the way I communicate on my social channels is in an authentic way. So I've been a perfectionist where I had to prepare everything and then just like if it's not right, then I won't post it, etc. Those type of things, it's not no longer my vibe. Now I'm just about authenticity, and what's important for me is that I get the message across to you, and or the message that I would like to share with my community. That is important to me, and so I just do it naturally, and so that is why on the other videos I say like you will hear me whether I stutter, whether I think, whether I um it takes a moment, there's brief pauses in between. This is what you're gonna see when you follow my channel and you're watching my videos, because it's about authenticity for me. You being yourself, like for the JK brand, it's about being distinctive, authentic, distinctive, powerful. Distinctive, authentic, powerful. That's the JK slogan. And so yeah, it might seem odd or strange, but that is just my vibe at the moment. So I'm going to tell you the story. I just thought before I read the scripture, I thought of a story that I would like to share, and because I thought about it recently, I thought I'm just going to let you know. So this would be the first time I'm actually sharing the story, I think, like, ever. No, it isn't. So I have shared it with a couple of people. A couple of people are aware. Like, very few people know about it, because I was trying to, like, sort of hide it, or, like I said, I didn't want to talk about it really because it made me feel sad and sort of like actually like ashamed that it happened a little bit, because even though it wasn't my fault because I was a child, just the fact that if if other people found out about it, they would look at me a certain way, you know. But now, as an adult, as I'm meditating about these things that I've gone through and that things that I overcame, the challenges and the difficulties, it is the truth, and it is my truth, and that type of thing shaped me into being a stronger person, and it strengthens my faith. because I realized all of the bad things that could have happened if I didn't believe in God, if I didn't trust in Him to bring me out of that situation safely. So, yeah, I'm about to tell you the story now. So, back in the day, I was on school, and the living situation wasn't that good. You know what I mean? I want to share the story, but I obviously would like to protect the people's identities that that are in the situation as well. But it's kind of difficult, because because it is them that actually impacted me in the story or impacted the whole situation. So I'm going to try the best that I can to just like speak about my situation alone, like my experience. But if I do reveal um, those things that you wouldn't like shared, apologies, because I'm trying to tell my truth and my situation and how I overcame that situation. So back in the day, I was um, on school, and then someone basically gave me a choice whether or not to stay or leave the space that I was staying in. And what happened was, because I didn't have a good relationship with the person, um, one of the people that was in that situations, I decided I'm not going to go. I do not want to go with these people, because if I go with these people, then it's going to be worse, because this person that I don't have a good relationship with is going to be in control of that space and then treat me worse than what he was already treating me in that situation, because we were constantly fighting. When I say fighting, I mean like arguing, and it's like we didn't like being in one another's space. It was just like, it was really terrible, it was horrible, it was a bad environment. But I was in school and I relied on um, the parent in the situation to take care of me. But I didn't have much of a choice really, because I was in school. You know what I mean? I wasn't working, I didn't earn a salary to pay rent or whatever the case may be. But I wasn't sure what I was going to do. But all I knew is that I did not want to go with the with him to the person that I had this conflict with, space and family, because then I would be in a more difficult situation. And I had nothing else to do, actually. I had nowhere else to go. And because the place that we were staying was being rented, and my parents said to me at the time that we're done here at this place now. We need to move from here, and we need to. The other option is we move with this other person to their place. And I was like, I'm not going. I'm not doing that. And then the parent obviously said, okay, um, it's your decision. So, um, actually, you know what? I think I was working at Legit. I was a casual at Legit. It could have been. Yeah, I was a casual at Legit and in one city. So I was earning very little. I earned like um so little. It was only just for taxi fare, and you could buy something, for lunch at Pick and Pay, etc. Um, but it wasn't a lot of money. And then it was only weekends or when I could work. And then what happened was, um, I came from school one day, or I came from work one day, one of the two. And then the place was empty. The place was empty. Um, so the couches were there because that couches, my grandma gave me that couches because there wasn't couches in the place. So my grandma gave me those seating couches, and there was like an old TV. It was there. Um, there was My room was still like it was. My bed was there, etc. And the rest of the stuff was out. Like everyone else had stayed there, which was my family at the time, the parent, and my siblings, or whatever the case may be. They were babies at the time, small children, and they were gone. So I was like, it was shocking for me because I didn't realize that someone would actually like literally leave me there, you know what I mean? That they would like just like go. Like what I actually expected was someone to say, for the parent to tell me, um, you know what? Because you said you're not gonna go with us to this person's place, yeah, what are the options? Let's talk about the options where you're going to be safe. That's what I expected. That's what I thought, we were going to have that conversation. But it didn't happen. So as I was going to school, and as I was um, doing the scheduled job, and as I was busy with my things, I like to write as well back in the day. Um, then there was no conversation in between as to like when exactly they are going. That was the last conversation we had that day, when she said, when this parent said to me, we're gonna go to this person's place. And then I thought we're going to have like a similar conversation like a couple of days before, and so that the person would give me an opportunity to sort of make a plan, or to maybe call someone, or whatever the case may be. I didn't realize when I get home they're going to be gone. So then when I walked in there, everything was gone. And I mean, all of their things were gone. And then I was like surprised, and I was shocked. And then there was a guy that stayed there, um 2 houses down. um his name was like Siraj or something like that. I went there and I was asked him like, what happened, like where are they, did you see them, the stuff is missing, it's gone. And he tells me that he took them to this other person's place, and he basically helped them move the stuff out. And he was my friend at the time, so I was like upset with him, because now I'm like, how could you do this and help them move, and just let them leave me alone here? And then, but the truth was, he didn't actually know what went on in the house. He didn't know, like, he probably didn't know that they didn't tell me anything, that they were just going to like ditch me or whatever the case may be. um so I was upset with him. And then there was another neighbor um there. He was also, his name was Louis. And how I knew him was that the parent was actually in, she actually, she and a partner, the person that we were supposed to go to the house, um that person, I wasn't getting along with that person. So it's that person, right? And then obviously my parents. So they then started this thing, this community initiative, where they wanted to help people that were like involved in gangsterism and involved with drugs and things like that. They wanted to help them by taking them off the street, and by um putting them, giving them better opportunities. Somehow they were involved with some community projects. Like I said, I was mostly in my room writing. I didn't really come out, only if I needed to be there for my brothers or whatever the case may be. But I didn't really spend much time with them because of the conflict in the house. um, but I was still a child, and there was still a parent there in that space. And or that I thought that the person would care better for me in the situation. Because now you can see that they already involved in community projects, but meanwhile I'm out here being abandoned. You know what I mean? So it's kind of contradicts the whole situation. But anyway, as an adult now, I have my own thoughts about the situation, but it is upsetting and it's sad, if I think back and observe like myself as a child, what I went through back then. And it is just absolutely wrong, and it's sad, and it's unacceptable. And like I said, it's contradicting, because now I'm telling you that they were involved in this community projects. They were involved in community projects trying to get kids off the street. Those kids that were involved in gangsterism, and those kids that were involved with that were on drugs and things like that, she brought into the house. The parent brought them into the house. They sat there while I had to walk past, or when I came from school and I had my school dress on, or whatever the case may be, I had to walk past those people that I didn't know. But anyway, so it was a whole situation there. It was a constant conflict situation, and where I didn't have to argue, and I just wanted to go find some peace in my writing. That is what I did. Okay, but the the situation, it was a bit difficult now. Difficult if I think about it now, and I, as an adult now, I would have a problem with those things. I would have said something about it. I'm saying something about it now. You know what I mean? Because it's horrible and it's dangerous, and you're putting a schoolgirl at risk, and there wasn't enough safety measures in place, and there wasn't enough security from parent to child. But anyway, so then um, they were involved in this projects with the kids in the area. And then, so this is how I knew the neighbor, Louis. So, and we didn't speak. I wasn't gonna speak to them because I didn't know them. I thought like, no, they're in gangs and stuff like that. So I don't wanna risk my safety or whatever the case may be. And I wasn't talking to my parent actually that much because of the other person always looking for trouble with me. And then once they were gone, I needed to ask someone. Then I asked this neighbor, this guy, now, do you know where they went? And he was like, no, I don't know where they went. And um, then I just had to deal with it. Then there was no food, there was no pegs to hang up the washing. I had to take wet washing in a bag to my grandma. I washed the washing in the bath. Then I had to put the clothes in the bag and take it to my grandma's house, and she hung it up for me. I There was no broom. I had family in Palor, a couple of streets down, but we weren't really that close. I wasn't close with that family, but they were family, and then I went till there to tell them the situation. And they gave me a broom to actually like sweep out the place. And then I, in terms of food, I, when I would buy something at Pick and Pay in my break time, and I only had 15 minutes at Legit. Then I would eat something and half of it, and then the other half I would take home to eat. But other than that, there was nothing. And then what I started hearing at night, and by the way, nobody phoned me. Nobody phoned to hear if I was okay or whatever the case may be. And I was too upset to sort of like call the spirit and ask like, what happened? Why did you leave me here? You know what I mean? I think at the time I also had that pride, and I was like, I expected better, and I was also embarrassed now to like ask people for help, you know. So then I started hearing sounds at night. I started hearing these sounds, and um, I didn't know what it was. It sounded like knocking in the yard. And then I waited till the morning. I was worried because it seemed like there was an alarm there. I'm not sure if that alarm really worked or whatever the case may be. Um, but I then um, went to the neighbor again, and I spoke to him, and I asked him, this Louis guy, like, do you know who is knocking in the yard at night, or what is that sound I'm hearing at night? Because last night I heard them, or it's almost like they're trying to break something in the yard. But then I realized um this at the back in the yard was this big blue, it was like a steel frame, and I think you sort of like store things on there. It looks almost like a steel cupboard type of thing. Oh, but I just know it was a big steel frame. And then I went and I asked him, I said, look here, do you know who is in the yard? Do they want that thing, or what's going on? Then he said to me, yes, they do want that thing, and that is why they knocking that thing so that they can they're trying to make it smaller, break it into parts so they can steal it, so that they can pawn it, so that they can make money to buy tuk, or whatever the case may be, whatever they want to do with it. They wanted to sell it and get money for it. So I said to them, okay. I said to this guy, Louis, look, if you want this thing, because I'm alone here, it's not safe at night if they do that. So that thing doesn't belong to me. But if it's not gonna, if they're gonna keep doing that and putting my safety at risk at night, then I want you to go get that, guys, and come get this thing in the yard. And then he said okay, and then he went to go get all of those guys, and then they came into the yard during the daytime, and they took that whole steel frame, that whole thing, and they carried it out by the yard, down the road, and off they went with it. So that was one dangerous situation, very dangerous situation I had to deal with. And then the next thing that happened was there was another guy that was also involved in this these projects that that my parent and the partner was um, trying to do in the area, whatever the case may be. His name was Wesley. So I only got to know these people really once they left, because now I had to sort of protect myself. So now I had to know who's around me, because I still have to walk past there. I'm wearing school clothes. I don't know the area. I don't know what's happening. Anything can happen. They can like try and grab me or whatever the case may be, because I'm alone. Then one one day he sat with me. We sat at the front door and then we had a conversation. This guy's name was Wesley. Then we spoke about what happened. We spoke about like just the shock of them leaving without telling me, or without making a plan, or without without like caring what would happen in that situation if I'm alone. And I think I was in matric, you know what I mean? So to leave a girl there that's in matric, and I mean, what if someone comes in there and anything can happen, like rape or burglary? Like you could, I just told you a story of someone that was trying to steal their things in the yard. And what if they tried to enter the house because I was alone and they knew I was alone? So we had this conversation, me and this Wesley person, and he told me that he was so disappointed and he's also shocked that people, um, my parent and this person just like left with, leaving them with the hope that they had in terms of um, like getting off the streets and doing something positive, playing soccer and all those things. So he was hurt and disappointed, him and the other people. And he had no idea as to when they were going to leave as well. So we were shocked, and the two of us just had a conversation with regards to the whole situation. And then I think I stayed there for like a week, or just over a week, or whatever the case may be. Could have been longer, I'm not entirely sure how long. But then I tried to make a plan to like get away from there, because of the food, and there was no pigs, and there was nothing really I could use. And I called my cousin. Her name is Nazarene. And then I said to her, look, this is happening. And I actually didn't want to call anyone because I didn't want them to know how I was suffering in that situation. And I was embarrassed of the situation, that this is actually happening, that my parent actually left me there. And but eventually I had to call someone because I didn't know what else to do. There was nothing for me to do. I had no money. It was dangerous. So I called my cousin Nazarene, and I told her, look, here, this is what happened. They just left me here, and now I'm here, and I've been staying here a couple of days, and I don't know how long I can stay here like this now, and it's dangerous and all of those things. And then she told her mother, and they were like, no, you can't stay there alone. And then she spoke to her mother, and they said, okay, I need to go stay at their house. I must stay in their son's room, Jaden. And then I now had to make a plan to get there. Then I made a plan with someone who never showed up. But before I made that plan, I actually there was still stuff in the house, like the couches and the bed and the There was a desk as well, and my school books and my writing books. And for me, I was very much sentimental over my books. I still am, and I was at the time over my school books and my writing books very much. And I didn't want to just give it to anyone, but I didn't know how to travel with these things. Then I asked this guy Louis, can you come with me and just take whatever you want? And he came in there. He took the TV, he took but the axe, and he knocked the table into pieces because there was obviously metal pieces in there. He broke that table, that desk. He took whatever he needed to, and I asked him, can you please keep my school books for me? I'm going to come fetch it. I'm gonna fetch it at your place. Like, it's very important to me. Out of everything here, my school books and my writing books is most important to me, and I'm gonna come get it here by you once I'm sorted and settled. Then he fetched everything. Then I arranged for a lift to go somewhere, to go back, my father, and he didn't, he ended up not showing up. Then I walked to the payphone. I think they still had that payphones. I think I had a 5 rand or whatever the case may be. And then I phoned. I asked, like, where are you? He told me the car broke down. That's it. So they never called me to tell me the car broke down. I had to go take my last 5 rand to go call this damn fly. I had to take my last 5 rand or whatever I had, change I had, and go call these people to hear that they're not showing up. Then I walked again to my uncle's house. Then I told him that nobody's showing up. I was supposed to leave to my aunt today. And now I'm here waiting. And I already told this neighbor guy to come fetch everything in the house. And now where must I be? There's no couch to sleep on. There's no bed. And everything is like packed up. And I was ready to go that day, to like leave to my aunt's place. And then they called my other uncle, Lionel, and he was swearing there. Obviously, he was upset because of what I was going through. And then he agreed to take me to my aunt's place, which was in Eitzig. Then he took me there, and I got out and I just stayed there by the house. And so this is the story I wanted to tell you, and it's the first time that I'm saying this publicly, but because I'm in the process of creating digital memories, it's really important that I get my truth out there. And it's part of my history, and it's part of everything that I went through. You know what I mean? And I overcame these challenges. And I was thinking that time, like, yo, they left me here. Weren't they like worried that I would become a prostitute, or I would get involved in drugs? I could have dropped out of school, not finished matric. I could have, my life could have been ruined, right? Because of that experience. That's what I thought. And I was worried for myself more about getting in all of those things that could have happened: prostitution, being involved in drugs, dropping out of school, going the wrong route I was like in matric. I was upset that they couldn't just get me through matric at least, or at least give me some sort of direction. You know what I'm saying? And as an adult now, it's damn unacceptable to do that to a child. Jesus Christ. Do you know what? This is the situation I went through, and this is the challenge that I overcame. So this is what I'm talking about. If you're willing to share things like this deep, and be open about it, and then you can connect with me through my email address, so that we can put it online. Obviously you will agree to it. It's some things are very personal and they're hurtful, and you don't want to share it with the public. But if there is a story that can help the JK community, the spiritual jungle community, then do so. Okay, it's like a survivor story. You've gone through something, you didn't let it crush you mentally. It didn't. It could have been worse. Okay, the enemy could have had control of you, but the enemy didn't. The enemy may have used other people to disrupt your life, but you didn't allow it. Somehow God assisted you and made you, brought you through those challenges, through those sufferings. So if you have stories and you would like to share with the Draco community, do so. And you know what? Sometimes like in the past as well, I was like, there's certain things I don't want to share because it might offend people. Might offend people, like people that I care about. People might be hurt. But if you look at the situation and the risk of what could have gone wrong, and who cared, the question is, who cared then about a schoolgirl that was alone? Who cared then is the question. So I hope I'm not offending anyone. Or actually, you know what? I know I'm going to offend someone by revealing my truth. But I have to do it because this is my story, it's my journey, it's my challenge that I overcame. And I didn't go into prostitution, and I didn't get involved in drugs or gangsterism then. I didn't ruin my school life. I hardly even had any boyfriends. I wanted to get through school so that I could get a job and take care of me and my siblings and my brothers. That's the truth. And how it happened was that I was in a situation where things could have gone wrong for me. The devil could have used me in the wrong way, in a way, for his ways, and I am not interested. So I've got more stories of things that I overcame in the past, and as hurtful and as horrible it is as it is to hear, if you were involved in the stories, know that it is even worse for me. But my truth needs to be spoken, and I need to let you know why it is that I choose God. And yeah, so let me know. And that is my story, and I would like to hear your personal stories in the past that you went through, and that you can say, I made it, I survived it. I'm not gonna bury the past because it's part of my life, and I will release it when I want to in my own way, and I will use it for good so I can help someone else. Okay.